Alright, we back on sports, and I want to say this right now before we get started. They're doing some type of roof work here, and they're acting a fool really loud. It's not my place, it's the place next door, the neighbors, but they're still walking back and forth. So if it gets a bit loud and I got to speak up, understand that, as you know, I don't have a problem speaking up anyway, but I'm just saying, just want to apologize for the noise. I don't know if it's going to, if you can hear it on the camera or not, okay? So, let's get started with sports. We're back, and I want to start with what happened over the weekend, which is local. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, and Eagles fans, we got a lot of football to talk about today, all right? And I'm talking NFL and EPL. However, Eagles fans, what I'm getting ready to say to you, if you don't understand what I'm saying when I say this name, then there's something wrong with you, all right? And I'm saying this specifically because there's a couple things that I need to address, all right? For those who don't understand what's going on, the Frankford Chargers, that's right, Frankford Chargers had their equipment stolen. That's right, the Pop Warner team, Frankford Chargers, had their equipment stolen. Now, if that doesn't resonate with you for a minute and say, what the hell's going on, I will explain. See, for those who understand, you may remember them last year when the NFL brought them out, the Frankford Chargers, during the halftime show, because they won the American Youth, National Championships, all right, 2014. That's right, the Frankford Chargers won that. The reason I bring this up, and, I'm sure people will say, oh, well, they did a good job. The reason I bring this up is because the Frankford Chargers play at Gambrell Field. For those who do not know what Gambrell Field is, that's over on Wakeland Street across from the projects. That's where the Eagles originally started as the Frankford Yellow Jackets. Now, for those who don't know who the Frankford Yellow Jackets is, the reason why I know this is because my dad played for the Frankford Yellow Jackets. My cousins played for the Frankford Yellow Jackets. So I saw time and time again boxes and boxes of trophies as a kid and pictures up on the wall of everything that they did. You have to understand that this is the history of the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? And it's also the history of Frankford. And for people who don't understand, there's three things that Frankford is known for, all right? The Frankford Chargers, the Frankford Boys Club, which is another rival football team, and the Frankford Pioneers, which are the Frankford High School, okay? You have to understand, these two Pop Warner football teams are pretty much a feeder system to Frankford football. Now, for those who don't know about Frankford football, when it comes to high school, you have to say they have a huge pedigree of winning, okay? But it's one of those cultures, as you've probably seen on TV or in movies. Like, once you play for that high school team, you are like a legend in Frankfurt after that. You can do no wrong. All right? That's how Frankfurt Pioneers football is here in Philadelphia. All right? Now, like I said, the reason I bring this up due to the fact that, because I've had a lot of people over the past beat their chest about how they're the number one Eagles fan, or how I am not an Eagles fan. I'm not a true Eagles fan. And every time I hear that, knowing how I've grown up and pretty much been engulfed into this Eagles culture, I just laugh and just simply tell them, go fuck yourself. That's how I feel. So when people get mad at me because I don't talk enough about Eagles football, and I say we'll talk about some other time, and then you get all frustrated with me, go fuck yourself. All right? I've spent way too many years, not here on camera, way too many years playing football myself against the Frankfurt Chargers. And if you've never played at Gambrell Field, and you haven't been down there at night, all right? And like I said, right across the street from the projects, and you're looking right at these players, and you're like, what the hell? What is their problem? You want to know what their problem is? Because this is all they have. This is where they shine. This is Pop Warner football. That's right. We're not even talking high school level. But this is where they shine. This is all they have because it's all they have around there. So when I hear that equipment has been stolen from a championship team, finally a national championship team, it's disheartening. It's very disheartening. Speaking of disheartening, let's talk about this article that just came out not too long ago. Okay? And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the Eagles have been crowned the most disappointing, most depressing team, I believe, in the NFL. Really. Apparently, these people don't know what depressing really looks like.
Popped up to shallow left center field. And it drops. Herrera and Ashley miscommunicate on that.
Mainstream media, that is 2 weeks in a row you have given us them. First, you said that we were the most hated fan base. Now you're saying that we have the most disappointing and depressing team. If you give us one more thing, you know what that'd be? That'll be a win streak for us Eagles fans. You understand that? Because we just keep winning things apparently. It's absolutely ridiculous that you would sit there and throw this type of slander. You don't have shit else better to do you, media? The most depressing team. Did you talk to teammates? Did you talk to the coaches? Did you talk to front office? Did you talk to fans before even having this done? Don't tell me because people were let go or people were traded or whatever the case may be that all of a sudden they're the most depressing team. Because I put it like this, especially for a fan base, because for every year that I see, fans are fired up. Every year. That doesn't sound like depressing to me. You know what's depressing? If the team comes out and everyone's like, I'm not going to do anything. I don't think I'm going to watch the games this year because I just can't take the pain anymore. That's depressing. But when you see people line up, for those who don't understand, all right, the last day of practice, there were over 40,000 fans there to see these players practice. That doesn't sound like depressing to me. That's absolutely ridiculous. Somebody would say that. As far as I'm concerned, when you make those type of headway, you know, those headlines, that clickbait, you should be fired because you're desperate for fucking attention. And speaking of desperate for attention, I told you fans, I told you that the Tebow wagon was in full effect, did I not? Now, the circus is here. The clowns are out and everyone is showing their true colors. You should see exactly how things went with Tim Tebow during practice.
In an offseason filled with major moves, one of the most hyped was the signing of a third-string quarterback. Tim Tebow joined the Eagles after 2 seasons out of the league. And as John Clark reports, there was plenty of fanfare Tuesday for the Heisman winner out of Florida.
It is Tebow mania at the lake. Tim Tebow stayed after practice for a while signing autographs, and he is overwhelmed by the support he's getting in Philly.
Something that's been very exciting about being in Philadelphia is they have really passionate fans. And, you know, if anybody's kind of watched me play or knows me, they know I'm very passionate about what I do, and I love it. And, you know, I'm blessed to be out here.
Tim Tebow is back in pads for the first time in a long time.
It's a little bit different because this is the first time I've thrown in pads in a couple of years. So, a little different. At first, I was like, oh, man.
Tebow joined some teammates for the prayer after practice. Many thought it was on a wing and a prayer for him to make the team. But Chip Kelly says Tebow has improved.
There's a couple stretches in there where it seems like he's got a little bit more zip on the ball than he did when he was in the springtime.
Do you feel the most comfortable right now throwing the football?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting better every day. You know, just understanding the offense more, where you can play a little bit faster.
Tim Tebow is grateful for this second chance.
You can take it for granted. And there's probably been a lot of times in my life where I've taken it for granted, but you just realize how blessed you are when you come out here. You're able to play a game that you love. I mean, that's it's pretty special.
Yeah, really, during the practice today, Tim Tebow received some of the loudest cheers. And as far as Eagles jersey, he has the second best-selling jersey behind DeMarco Murray. So he's still popular. But will he make the team? Brandon Graham, the linebacker, thinks so. He believes Tim's going to shock a lot of people, will make the team, and actually play a lot.
Oh, just give Tebow the starting job already at this point. I mean, let's be honest here. If his second highest jersey for a guy who you don't know if he's going to make the team, and if he makes the team, more likely he'll be a third-string quarterback, the second highest selling jersey behind DeMarco Murray. Just give him the starting quarterback already. I told you, this is going to be something that it's going to play out just like Denver. And I don't mean playoffs. I'm saying the way they're going to shoehorn him in because fans are going to be so upset. It's going to end up like the Jets, where they thought he could be the savior and do nothing. Like, this is Tim Tebow. I've said it before. Tim Tebow seems like he is a really nice guy. A really nice person. A nice, genuine person. I've said this time and time again. I have nothing against Tim Tebow, the person. Tim Tebow, the player, I have a problem with. Because any person, like I said before, any person who wants to stay in the NFL would have changed positions if need be until they got that shot to be a quarterback again. But he insisted that he was just going to be a quarterback, and then when they said, well, look, no one's going to take you, all right, he went to ESPN and he went and got a job, didn't he? Now he's back as a quarterback. You know how many players have switched positions? No, I'm not getting into this. I'm not. If this is about sacrifice, if this is about passion for playing football, you do what needs to be done. It's that simple, which is why I don't believe him to an extent. But speaking about not believing people, Chip Kelly. Now, a lot of you last week messaged me and said, you want a new coach. that you cannot stand Chip Kelly after the conference that was said, the questions that were asked about him and Riley Cooper, especially with all these players leaving and what they're saying. People like LaShawn McCoy, people like Brandon Boykin, and they're saying that maybe this is a direct backlash because of Riley Cooper. Well, Chip Kelly actually answers this question, and if you ask me, this was the worst way you could go about it.
Comments, the coach discussed Riley Cooper, who was caught on camera a few years back making a racial slur at a concert which came during Kelly's first training camp with the team. Coach Kelly was asked Tuesday if some of the backlash he's received from his former players may be a direct result of his decision to keep Cooper on this team.
I think that Riley made a mistake, and I think, that's part of it. And we all backed him. Michael backed him, Jason Avant backed him. I think that's part of being in an organization and a team, and that's, I look at that as a specific incident, and he was 100% wrong, and it's those are things that should never be said, and I hope he learned his lesson, and I think he regrets what he did that day every single day. I mean, I see that in him, but do I regret what I did in terms of how we handled Riley? No, we don't.
Do you feel like there's a connection between them?
There could be, but I don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to connect X to Y to Z and all those other things. We have other things we need to take care of.
Chip Kelly is full of shit in that answer, and I'm going to tell you why, okay? Because first he says everyone backed him. That's bullshit. Not everyone backed him. Well, Michael backed him. Where's Michael now? Gone. Jason Avant backed him. Where's Jason Avant now? Gone. Remember, Riley Cooper, after this was all said and done, he still had people getting in his ear about what he said because they were pissed off at him. So not every teammate backed him, all right? And then you turn around and say, well, I don't have the time to figure out X, Y, and Z and how it's connected. Are you serious? This is a very serious issue, and you're going to tell me that you're not going to look into that? And I'll play this. This is why you have people saying, black people saying, that you're a racist. You understand this, right? Because now it comes down to, is this really cause and effect? Is it really? But the fact that you say you're not even looking into it shows that you don't give a shit. That's what it tells me. You say you did everything you need, you did everything for Riley Cooper. You don't feel bad for what you did. You sent them to a therapist for what, a day? That's what you did. That was the most harsh thing you can do, and then you rewarded him with a big contract. That's what you did. Let's be fucking honest here, people. This is why people, like I said, I had people message me last week on this. And this is the reason why. He's not helping himself. And as much as I don't want to say that Chip Kelly is a racist, I've said this how many times? He's also not helping himself by what he's saying. The fact that he's going to sit here and say, I don't have time to connect X, Y, and Z. Not only does it tell me that there is a problem between your barrier and players and communication, because he always talks about this open door policy, but it also tells me that he's quite insensitive on what's going on. I don't try to hear that I'm too focused and scientific on the plays in football. No. You have to understand, at the end of the day, these are still people. People, Chip Kelly. They're not just robots. So, as far as I'm concerned, I will still say that Chip Kelly is not a racist, but he is such a fucking asshole. I will say that. I do not like him. Period. It's not just about what he's doing with this team. It's his attitude. I don't like him. When I sat there and I watched that interview, I was like, I don't even want to look at his fucking face. That's how I felt. That tells you something. But speaking of more football, I do want to talk about more NFL. Hall of Fame game was pretty fun to watch last night. It was great to see football back. The Vikings look pretty damn good. Steelers secondary, they still have problems at linebacker, but you got Brandon Boykin. He showed that he can still play. We didn't see Roethlisberger play, so we'll see what happens with him. Steelers, nothing really happened due to the fact, you can't really base it off of that due to the fact that they had this kid in, and he was just trying to make things happen. But Teddy Bridgewater looked really good. He did. For the amount of time he played. Vikings can move the ball. They got some playmakers. I would like to see what happens once they put Adrian Peterson back into the fray. This could be something for the Vikings. We will see. I'm not going to say the Vikings are going to be great. I'm not saying that because, like I said, it's one game. It's a Hall of Fame game. Guys aren't playing as hard. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens in the preseason, and then, of course, starting in the regular season. But so far, the Vikings look really well. They had 2 chances where they should have scored, and they didn't. Because on the 4th down, they didn't convert on the 4th down near the end zone, and then you bring that kicker out there, and he misses that kick. It felt like the first half nobody wanted to score. That's what it felt like at one point. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Vikings do look like they have some steam. We don't know how long it'll last. And if Teddy Bridgewater can stay healthy, because we know he got injured, last year, but they look pretty good. We'll see what happens. They even went in and broke down his throwing mechanics and compared him to Phillip Rivers, the way his elbow is lower before he releases the ball. So it's really interesting to watch these type of things. Very happy football is back in NFL. Also, speaking of more NFL news, they talk about how us Eagles fans are the worst, right? Right? That's what they keep saying? Here's the story for you. Roger Goodell's house is being watched by police following Tom Brady's suspension ruling. Because they're watching his house because they feel as though Patriot fans were going to go off on his house. Now, I want to know what Eagles fans have ever went off on someone's house like that. I want to know who. But Patriots fans, yeah. So he's got police presence at his house so that people don't vandalize his house or whatever. I find it hilarious. I really do. But get him, Patriots fans, get him! Because no one likes Roger Goodell at this point. Also, in Redskins news, Redskins fans, let's talk about you real quick. Desean Jackson, Redskins 11, that's right, comes out and says that no cornerback can stop him. Rebus can't stop him. Sherman can't stop him. Nobody can stop him. Take it from us Eagles fans, if you jam him at the line, he's done. We know this. We've seen this for years, okay? But I understand his confidence. I get that, okay? However, this is the same Redskins 11 that said that they're the team to beat this year. Which, like I said, the Dallas Cowboys also said this year. Tony Romo came out and said that they're the team to beat this year. You can't have 2 teams to beat in one, especially in one division. It's like you can't have that. However, with him, that being said about no corner can stop him, Desean Jackson is now injured. That's right. Messed up his shoulder. He's out for, I believe they said a couple weeks, 2 weeks. Redskins fans, you have nothing to worry about. I'm sure he'll be ready for the regular season. So you don't have anything to worry about there. However, the article in the info bar, the Washington media has had so much fun with this story that they talked about how there was a rumor that he tried to hit a tackling sled, and that's what led to the injury, or he slipped. And the thing is, they make so much fun of it that they even gave the tackling sled his own press conference, and he announced that he was going to do a reality show. like the Washington media has had so much fun with this already. I'll put the link in the info bar so you can see it, okay? Also, more football news. 49ers fans, Niners fans, you released Aldon Smith. I think that everyone can agree it's about damn time. Now, of course, this time it was, a DUI, hit and run. This guy has such a long track record. I don't understand why he was there for that long. And I did a video before about this saying he should have been released last year. All right, you should have got rid of him then. And the Niners didn't. They finally released him. This is one of those cases where people like Aldon Smith have pretty much all the talent, have everything handed to them at this pro level, and they give you so many chances, and you still fuck it up. As far as I'm concerned, nobody, and I mean nobody, should give Aldon Smith another chance. He's had enough. How many deserve? How many? Seriously. It bothers me. Also, in more NFL news, Antonio Gates. That's right. For those who don't know Chargers fans, he has been suspended for 4 games for PEDs. That's right. Also, speaking of the Chargers, I want to talk about this. For those who don't know, the NFL may be selling 2016 tickets because, as you know, LA will be getting their own team next year. However, it comes down to the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Rams. Now, I can't see the Chargers leaving San Diego at this point because if anyone's ever been to a Chargers game, and I've been to a Chargers game, okay? When I went to the Chargers game, die-hard fans. That fan base is so die-hard. I cannot imagine the Chargers leaving San Diego. And you have to understand, the way San Diego is set up, everything is pretty much all right there. You know what I mean? You got, you got the Padres Stadium right there. You got the Gaslamp District. You take the train out to go to to the football stadium, which is a beautiful football stadium last time I checked when I was there. It's just one of those things where I just can't see that fan base leaving. The same thing with the Raiders fan base. Now, LA, they were there too. Pretty much all these teams were there. But you have to understand that when you're at a Raiders game, like, to see their fan base, they they've made the trek before, but I just can't see teams going to LA. Not to mention, to be honest, I don't think LA deserves a team. I don't think they do. I mean, you had them before and you got rid of them. That's how I feel. If anything, I can see the Rams going back. I can see that. But I really can't see the Raiders leaving Oakland, and I can't see the Chargers leaving San Diego. No. I think, if anything, the best bet, in my opinion, would be to put it on the Rams for them to leave. But still, to sell tickets now, right? When you don't even have a team announced to be there, you're selling tickets now. That's crazy. That's crazy. But like I said, may be happening. That's Fox for you. May. Now I want to turn around to EPL. We got to talk about the EPL. That's right, football overseas. Chelsea. This was a must-win game. For the previous 3 games, and I'm including the Swansea game, okay? You turned around and you played piss-poor defense. You lost to Arsenal, which Arsenal lost this weekend. You lost, what's that overseas team? Damn, I forgot their name. Anyways, you lost to them, and that was a piss-poor performance. But then you bring out the guns when it comes to Swansea because it's the start of the season, which we thought that, that you were going to bring in Costa and all these people. But you did nothing. Now, look, I put it like this. In these previous 3 games, it's going to show you. It's shown. Fans, from last season, since we talked, they played too much defense. It was boring football. It's not boring. In 3 games so far, we have seen them be so aggressive and play offensively. The problem is, they're not playing defense. They're not getting back fast enough. So they're getting torched. And I'll put it like this. That red card did us in. All right? You got your goalkeeper coming out, and let's be honest here. There's arguments about the guy being offsides, the trajectory of the ball is spinning in one way, but they still give him a red card. Terry tries to defend our goalkeeper. He gets a yellow card for his troubles. Moreno's just sitting on the side, just laughing. Really? What can you do but just fucking laugh? Seriously. I'll put it like this. Swansea has not gained a point, especially in league since once. Stamford Bridge since 1980. So to see that was just like, and you guys said it in the comments, Swansea isn't going to be a rollover. And yeah, they're big game killers. And what did I say? I said in the first week, every team has something to prove. It is week 1. People are fired up. It doesn't matter what sport it is. Week 1, everyone has something to prove. Swansea went out there and proved it. They did. This week we have Manchester City. Came in second place last year. I believe Manchester City plays today, right? I believe they played today. We will see what happens. But throughout the league, this has just been crazy. Crystal Palace won their game. Leicester City, who's on top of the charts right now, won their game. Like, if you look at the standings, there are 5 teams. Manchester United won. There's 5 teams that are tied for first, but you got to look at the points as well. You know? And it's absolutely crazy to see. It's everything's upside down right now. But, of course, it's only week 1. So what I'll do is I'll put a link in the info bar so that you can see the standings. Okay? So you can see just how crazy this is. But, like I said, week 1, this is what's great. I love the fact that I have EPL now on Saturday morning. Saturday morning is a great way to start EPL, you know what I mean? And watch those games. Then Sunday morning EPL, and then NFL, and then NFL soon, NFL pregame, and then NFL football Sunday. That, to me, is great. Can't be bored with that for me, in my opinion. I'm not going to be bored. I'm just not. I don't know. Anyways, a little bit of news, I want to move on, because EPL, like I said, Chelsea, you got to win the next game. I know I keep saying you got to win. You should have won the last game, and you know what? I can't keep, how can I put this? 75-minute mark in. That's when you decide, oh, there's a chance we may lose this game. Let's go on. Granted, you tied. I believe you tied. Yeah. But, you know, I don't know. It's just, for me, you have to understand, I'm kind of scared of Brady right now because I can hear what's going on, and it's distracting as hell. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but for me, it's been so hard to watch these previous 3 games. It just has. And for a team that is supposed to be the best, and you proved last season you're the best, and you guys said that, hey, you know, everyone's coming for you this season. Yeah, because as we all know, winning a championship is hard, but defending defending and retaining that championship is even harder. We know that. Speaking of retaining, that'll be my segue. This will be my last bit of sports right now for the day, for the week, possibly for the week. UFC. I have to say that Saturday was, it was alright. It's okay. You know what I mean? However, I do want to talk about one thing that a lot of people have been talking about. I've been getting a lot of questions about it, and it's the only reason I'm addressing this about UFC. Because, like I said, the fights, I can't complain about the fights. The fights were pretty good, okay? There's nothing to really complain about. Other than that bad decision, we're not going to talk about that. That's just way too... Even Dana White came out and said that's bullshit. But, whatever. I want to talk about Glover Teixeira. And I want to talk about how he calls out Daniel Cormier. And then Daniel Cormier says... For those who watched the post-game, after the post-match fight, whatever, he says, as much as I like Glover Teixeira, and everyone admits that Glover Teixeira is a really nice guy in real life. You know, it's hard to say no to this guy. But then Daniel Cormier says, you're not my league. There's no way you deserve a title shot. Like, wow. Like, and don't get me wrong, Glover Teixeira went out there and he fought. He did. But if you think about it, what Daniel Cormier can do, I have to agree. I'm not going to say that he's not in his league. I'm going to say if they did get into a fight, Cormier would win. That's as far as I would go. I wouldn't go as far as to say, oh, you're out of his league and you're a bum. I'm not going to go that far. And even Daniel Cormier said during, on Fox, he was like, I don't want to trash talk him and run him down. He's such a nice guy. But as the champion, it had to be done, I guess. However, I'll put the link in the info bar for you so that you can see what else that Daniel Cormier said. Of course, they cleaned it up a bit. But, yeah, the fights were great. I put it like this. When the weekend is full of sports, and, of course, now during the week now, the EPL's back and running, we've got multiple, football matches overseas that are great to watch. And don't get me wrong here, people, all right, when it comes to EPL. Because you know what? I didn't even do the Griffin Force flop of the week. We should get to that right now, matter of fact. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's an absolute joke. And you know what? I keep hearing people say, do not touch footballers' ears or the back of their necks or close to their head because they're going to end up, acting like a bunch of damn idiots. Well, I guess that's somewhat true then. I'm just, So like I said, EPL during the week and in the weekend, NFL coming soon on Sundays, depending, because also remember, NFL is usually Thursdays, depending certain games, could be Saturdays, and on Sundays. You also have boxing, you also have MMA on the weekend, just sports. This is what you have. And this is what's great. It keeps you entertained. It's almost like you get so used to watching sports to a point where I don't know if y'all heard that, but it gets to a point where if there isn't a sport on, you're like, damn, it feels kind of weird sitting in front of the TV because, like I said, the only time I really sit in front of the TV is for sports. Other than that, I'm like, I'm out playing sports or doing something or playing video games or doing something else, doing other activities. Some things are must-sees for me, when it comes to sports. So, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I'm done. It doesn't really matter. I'm done. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Of course, we can talk in the comment section if you want. But yeah, it's been a pretty disappointing weekend when it comes to. I think the first bit of news really made me disappointing, and then of course what happened last night, and that has nothing to do with sports. What happened last night, news wise, and see how news outlets are acting. That's just disgusting, man. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.